It's a new philosophy for Andy Reid in the preseason, and that might even include a trade. Today on Locked On Chiefs.
From the land of the free and the home of the Chiefs, this is the Locked On Chiefs podcast.
Welcome back, Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for making us your first listen here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We appreciate if you check out another Locked On show for your next listen. We are all over the place and coming to all kinds of stations around the country near you. More for that as we give you some business updates as we roll forward. I'm excited that we appreciate you being here with us. You everydayers, you're always here. You can find the everydayers and hang out with them on the text line if you'd like to get access to that, 816-357-8781. And you can get involved as well. My name's Ryan Tracy. I'm the founder of Rogue Analytics and Performance Consulting, as well as NFL33.com and RGR Football. I've been co-hosting this show with this guy for the last 9 seasons. This is Chris Clark over at KC Chiefs Corner. We've written, we've potted, we've video potted. We've done pretty much the whole 9 yards for the last 15 years on this team. I've coached for a long time besides that, and we have all kinds of unique views, we'll call that, on this team. We hope that you'll hang out with us because today, this is our plan. There are some things that are fool's gold, and you shouldn't waste your time on at least dreaming about. That's coming up later in the show. There's some easy upgrades out there for this team to make for sure. And we start at the top of this show at what is maybe a foreign concept. We don't talk about the Chiefs going out and making trades and doing a lot of spending this time of year normally. Now, there's always been some small deals here or there, not a big deal, but this year's a little bit different. Andy Reid is different. And how are you reading into everything about that?
Yeah, Andy Reid is different. We talked about this with Matt yesterday, and we got a little bit more information from Reid today talking about why he is changing his philosophy from not playing the starters in the last preseason game. It's because they have such a long break. They literally will have 2 weeks off between games. Yeah, they'll have practice. Yeah, they'll be doing things. And yes, there will be some extensive travel that they have to do because of where the game is. But they have 2 weeks before their before their first game, and he doesn't want them to be rusty. He wants them to be going in the right direction, and I think that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, I do as well. Today we're brought to you by FanDuel. Football season's right around the corner, and visit FanDuel app right now today and get started planning your future bets right now. That is different, and it is, I think, minding that gap in play time makes a lot of sense. I think they had a slow start again last year. Maybe this is something that can change that. Starting slow means your players aren't quite ready and developed, and there are some on this team that are not ready and developed. That means that you might have to make an acquisition. Now, cut down day is an absolute fiasco these days because I think the meaning was to try to make it more, open across the league. But in terms of waivers, Chiefs are last on the list, 31st, might as well be. In terms of trying to go out and get free agents as they're cut, if they're veterans, yes, they can do that, but everybody's released it once. It makes things really, really hard. So if you want to secure yourself more talent, shore up a position or add to something, the trade's the best way to go right now, especially as it started to tick up the last couple of days. We've had 2 major trades this week. It started on Monday with Harrison Bryant, the tight end, flipping over to Philadelphia for John Mechie. Flipping over to Houston for John Mechie, coming from Houston to the Philadelphia Eagles. Both lower level, older picks, 5th and 6th round, day 3 picks earlier. That just started. Then our old guy, Colin Saunders, got flipped over to Jacksonville for Luke Fortner, an offensive lineman. So lineman for lineman, nearly the same salary. It was pretty much an even swap. And now today, the Cleveland Browns are actually getting a pick back on the 6th round, upgrading their 7th for Juwan Briggs going to the New York Jets. JT. That's. I don't think that's going to help you guys. I'm just saying. But it's starting to pick up steam. And so it's got me thinking about Chiefs have a couple of things that they can do. A lot of rumor going on out there right now. And one of the positions we have been talking about is running back. And the Brian Robinson thing is out there. And this is not a slight against Isaiah Pacheco in any possible way, but this is another starting caliber player that could be had out there for what I don't think has to be a top 100 pick. I think you can do this for something that the Chiefs have on day 3 and probably get it done. There's even rumor that he may not get traded at all. He may just be outright released, and that's even better scenario for the Chiefs. But what do you think of Robinson's fit, and do you think it's something they should look at?
I think they need to look at it. I think that you need to look at any possible trade that can make a team better, and they absolutely need another running back. I think that Elijah Mitchell hasn't worked out and given them anything as to what they were hoping for. Brashard Smith looks like he could be somebody that can contribute in the passing game, but isn't really going to give you much at the running back position. And the only other guy you have on the roster is Carson Steele. That you feel like could maybe be on the roster this year is Carson Steele. And while he can be an okay short yardage back and he's more of a fullback type and he plays special teams, I don't think that that's the direction you want to go when you have a guy in Kareem Hunt who showed that he could be injured just a little bit last year, got banged up late in the season, and you have Isaiah Pacheco who was dealing with injuries, multiple injuries over the past couple of years. So I think that you have to consider having another running back, and you're in a position now like you haven't been in years where you actually have cap space. You actually have some space you can do things with. Running back is a position that I would consider. Another one that I would consider is defensive tackle. And I think that there's, potential running places to go in that one too.
Yeah, I think one stands out. We'll talk about that coming up here in a little bit. But before we get there, where does the cap stand right now? What do they have for space?
They are right now, I believe, at like 17 million, just under 17 million in cap space. 16.96. So right under 17 million in cap space. Now, don't forget, you're going to need, and I haven't done the calculations, but you're going to need probably 3 to 4 to get through the season. That's generally what the Chiefs have, between 3 to 5. But you're also going to need some of that cap space to be allocated to the players that are below your top 51, which are the only ones that are being counted against the cap right now. So you're going to lose some cap space just with that. You're going to lose cap space probably, I would say, $2 to $3 million at least, just from that. And then you add in the practice squad, you're going to lose a couple million more there. So, I mean, you have 17, but it's not like you really have 17 you can go spend. You may have, I don't know, if I'm being conservative, you may have 6 or 7, maybe a little bit more. Just really depends on who's going to make the roster versus who isn't.
Yeah, it certainly makes it that much easier. And trades will affect the balance, especially dependent if you could move a player for a player. We've talked about a number of them. Chiefs have maybe an overload at some places. There's a lot of talk about wide receiver need around the league. The Chiefs are pushing maybe keep it 7, and there were probably 2 more that you could put on a roster. So that's an option. Is that the easy upgrade? Not necessarily. There's a couple that are better, including an old friend. That's next. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for you football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. It's all here for just 24 hours. FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions, the season-long ones. So whether you're calling out your MVP or eyeing a long shot division winner, or you're ready to crown a Super Bowl champion right now before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. So take a flyer. Get Mahomes in the MVP race. Hell, throw Kelsey in there too. It can't hurt, right? If you think the Chiefs are going back to it, you might as well put your money on them now and crown your champion in August. You might take a couple others as well. There's all kinds of action you can get into. Visit FanDuel app today and get started planning your futures bets right now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only at FanDuel. Play your game. There's plenty of options around the league. The Chiefs have done something like this before, and if you want to go back and check it out, we have content for you 5 days a week, but also all year long, every year for the last 9 years. You want to go talk at some earlier trades, go back to last season. I'm sure all you have to do is hunt down the words trade Mecole Hardman, which I think might be an easy upgrade that gets done again at this point. Mecole being Mecole, I don't know that if he's ingratiated himself enough to his new team, he could get released as well, but do you think it's an option?
I don't know that it's really an option. What does he give you? I mean, if you're going to keep him as a returner, okay, but you have that in Remigio. Why would you want to go that direction and just have him as a returner? I mean, because he's not going to get playing time as a wide receiver. Can he get playing time as a wide receiver? Yeah, he probably gives you more there, I suppose. But you've had Nico on the roster for a couple of years. I think he's probably pretty close to, if not better, probably better than Hardman. I mean, at least from what I've seen lately. So it would be a step back when it comes to returning. It'd be better maybe for his overall ability to contribute to the roster, but as a returner, I think it's a step back. So I don't think that that's really an option for Kansas City that I would expect them to take. Could be wrong on that. Obviously, they've brought McCole Hardman back before, so it wouldn't shock me.
I don't think they're doing it. I bring the question up because everybody's asking me about it. I wouldn't do it. I certainly wouldn't give up anything for him. If he gets released, then we can talk about it if there's a need, especially if you were able to move one of your receivers that maybe isn't going to make the roster and get something for him as well. But he's not the only one. There's an interesting scenario, or a couple of interesting scenarios out there about what would make an easy upgrade, whether it's a trade or maybe it's not a trade and something else has to happen.
One thing that you mentioned in the first segment was that the Jets just made a trade. Who do the Jets have on their team?
Well, who did they just acquire? A defensive tackle. And what does that mean? Derek Nottie, again, not outplaying his coverage here with his new team. So there is rumor that, he could be traded, much like Brian Robinson is rumored there. But maybe just as likely, he just gets released. And then he's out on the market. And as a veteran, you can sign him at any point. You don't have to claim waivers or anything else.
And I would think that he'd want to come back to Kansas City. He knows the defense. He knows what he's going to be able to do. It would be somebody that could step in and really give you a one tech that you don't really have on this roster that you could feel comfortable with. You're trying to push Omar Norman Lott into that position, who is not going to play in Friday's game. And I think that it's possible that they could be looking at adding at the defensive tackle position. So this move would make a lot of sense for me. And I do think that it's something that could happen if he is released. Yeah, and I don't think somebody's going to trade for him. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. But I would go even beyond that. It's just good to have somebody in the system to be a mentor for Omar.
Yep.
And as you said, Omar's not going to play here. Derek would be cheap. I don't think he can put out the way that he used to. I thought it was maybe his worst season last year. I think he was probably still hurt last year. I don't know if he still is now. But knowing the ropes, being able to kind of bring the young kid along, I think that might help. And it certainly solidifies a room that we've had questions about since before training camp started. So I agree. I think it ends up in a release, and then maybe they could look at him. I don't know if they'll have to, because I do still feel like this is something that there's another option or two out there, and there could be more shortly. So defensive tackle, definitely one to watch. Are there any other easy upgrades out there that you're interested in?
I don't know that I would say that there's a ton of easy upgrades out there. I think that it's all going to depend on what comes out in the next week. I mean, you have 2 games. You have all the preseason games are going to be over with by Friday, and you're going to know more than likely who's going to be gone from different rosters, and your pro player personnel are going to have a pretty good idea of who they think will be available, and that's when you start making phone calls to figure out, can you make a deal that makes your roster better before final cutdown day? And maybe some of these guys are going to end up being on the roster and then not on the roster a couple days later, because you're going to have somebody claimed. But as we talked about, Kansas City's 31 in the waiver wire. Good luck claiming somebody from other rosters. You're just probably not going to get the chance.
Yeah, that is going to be tough. And it looks like Chiefs are playing on Friday, but there are a couple of other games on Saturday as well. So it may come down to that a little bit farther. Teams rumored to be very active in trade, either acquisitions or sells. The 49ers, Jacksonville, Green Bay.
49ers don't have a wide receiver.
What's that?
49ers don't have a wide receiver. 4 of their wide receivers are hurt, and Demarcus Robinson just got suspended for 3 games.
Yep.
And the Cincinnati Bengals, who have a horrible offensive line, just lost their offensive guard for the season.
What offensive line is my question? Because it's gone.
Probably fair. Joe would say that. Joe might be saying that himself.
He might. So in those 2 scenarios, what do you have? You have Jason Brownlee that you could maybe offer up to somebody. You have CJ Hansen that I don't think is going to make this roster, maybe the practice squad. But if you could turn him for a pick, I feel that's a good deal.
Well, and Brownlee could be a guy that the Minnesota Vikings would maybe want to take a look at, because the Vikings are looking for a wide receiver with Justin Jefferson hurting with a hamstring and Addison out for the first 3 weeks. So there's definitely going to be people that are looking for it, although I did see somebody try to offer the Vikings Sky Moore. I don't know that they're going to go that direction.
You never know.
You can try to trade him, but I think he has more value as a kick returner really than as a wide receiver. So I would expect that it's going to be, if somebody's going to be looking to trade, it's going to be somebody that wants him as a kick returner. But that contract is still a little bit more expensive than I would think most would want to pay.
Well, and to Dave Tobe's credit, he said everything he had to say about how Sky catches everything as long as it's kicked to him and not thrown. So, hey, that's fine. Don't catch it with your chest, kid. That's all I'm saying. If that were to draw interest, hey, all the better. Because I do think Sky could use that fresh start, and if the Chiefs could get something in return rather than just having to go to a release status, I think that's optimal, maybe more so than we even thought could be a possibility. Possibilities are the fun part. We're going to talk about a couple of things that are possibles, but you should not waste your time right now. One guy in Dallas in particular is at the top of my list. We'll talk Micah Parsons coming up next.
Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. I've used Monarch Money for at least 7 or 8 months now, I think, and I've loved it. It is awesome to be able to have everything at your fingertips. You see, and it budgets out your money. It shows you what you're spending your money on. It shows you your income in, your income out. It is a fantastic app. You need to go give Monarch Money a try. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year.
I love the rumor mill. There's all kinds of possibilities. And the fact that when Von Miller was leaving Denver and his affinity for Derek Thomas and his number, et cetera, that was always a nice thing to dream about, but it was a dream. The current dream is that because with FAU's departure to IR, as though that has anything to do with the possible acquisition of the best pass rusher in this league, now all of a sudden...
Oh, you're going to call him that, huh?
I mean, he and TJ Watt are 1-2 for me, and yes, that means Myles Garrett is 3, but I don't know that it's that arguable, especially given his age and the age of those other 2 guys. So, yeah, I mean, when you factor age in, I don't think it's terribly close. But so many people are up in arms about there's a need, and they have a guy that isn't going to sign with them, and Adam Schefter just blew it all out of the water yesterday saying he thinks it's over, et cetera, et cetera. And I try not to be reactionary, but as much as I would love to see that, it would cost so much money because money is the problem in Dallas for Micah Parsons and one Jerry Jones. And 2, the cost to acquire him would be astronomical. I am clearly on the line right now. Don't waste your time trying to daydream about Micah Parsons in a Chiefs uniform.
I can't say I blame you on that. I think the interesting thing on this is leave it to Dallas to screw this up so horribly. Like, I don't get it. Like, everybody wants to call them America's team, and fine, whatever. Call them America's team if you want to. But the reality is that they haven't been good for years, and they continue to make horrible decisions when it comes to the players that they continue to give contracts to. Dak Prescott got a contract that he'll never live up to. That's one of the reasons Micah Parsons hasn't been paid. You can't live up to that contract. Dak cannot live up to that contract. He needs pieces around him to get to a point where he could take to the Super Bowl, and you're not going to be able to get that there. So while I agree with you, there is no chance, I don't believe, that Micah Parsons ends up in Kansas City. I will say I don't know what's going to happen, because I'm not going to be shocked if Micah Parsons decides to sit out at this point, because the reality is that one injury could cost him millions.
True.
Tens of millions.
And over the course of that contract would be so consequential that rushing it now seems not only silly, but like just a bad decision.
And let me take it a step further. If you could actually figure out a way, and I know we're saying that don't waste your time, but if you could figure out a way to get this deal done, think about what that would mean for this Chiefs roster. You have the best quarterback in the NFL, and you'd have one of the best defenders in the NFL on the same team. And yeah, you'd have to pay Parsons an astronomical amount of money, and it'd be really hard to figure out. But
yeah,
the Chiefs would be able to rush the passer in a way that they haven't been able to do in years. You put him with George Karlaftis and Chris Jones, that would be phenomenal to watch. You're right. It's not going to happen because, one, the money isn't going to be able to be worked out. But two, I don't know, 3 first-round picks probably would be the asking price?
Probably. You'd have to think. I mean, and when you look at the way that he aligns, a lot of it is as a stand-up linebacker.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yes, he can put his hand in the dirt, but he is not the power defensive end that Steve Spagnuolo wants. So there is also the question of scheme fit. And Micah can rush the passer in any scheme. I'm convinced of that. But it isn't the perfect marriage that 3 number ones or even 2 would warrant spending.
Yep. No, 100% agree on that. Like I said, there's no way it's going to happen, but he could literally, coming to Kansas City, he could literally be close to the face of the NFL to an extent, right behind Patrick Mahomes, because that's the kind of level he would be on, and his ability to get after the passer could be huge in some of the postseason games that he'd be playing on, but that he'll never get a chance to play on in Dallas.
Yeah. Well, as we're talking about trades right now, just hit the wire that the Broncos are trading with the Saints. Saints very active so far. So if there's anybody else that you want off the Saints roster, let me know. Because it looks like they're ready to deal. Tyler Shuck, I'm sorry, buddy. They're selling the ship out from underneath you. And they are acquiring Devon Vele, trying to add another wide receiver there. So a switch of 26 and 27 picks. But definitely it's starting to loosen up. And I think teams overall are trying to be a little bit more proactive right now in trying to get ahead of the trade market. Ryan Poles, old friend of the program, both here and in Kansas City, just extended his backup quarterback, Tyson Bagent, 2 years and $10 million. Completely unproven, but been playing good in the preseason and wants to get out in front of that. So now that he's under contract, I think that makes him more enticing to another team because they don't have to do a negotiation.
Yeah, possibly. The one that I haven't heard you say that I'm curious, and I hate throwing it out here because I'm not sure it's a don't waste your time type thing, but I have to ask, Kyle Duggar, there's reports that he could be available from New England, and it's going to cost you a pretty penny in money, but man.
Yeah, that is true.
That safety position makes you wonder a little bit sometimes.
I would consider it. It's going to have to be the total cost, and I think you can get him for less than what we're talking about for Mike Parsons, certainly. And just to aggravate me even farther, as we're sitting here, I noticed that about 20 minutes ago, Harrison Phillips, the defensive tackle, nose tackle from the Vikings, was sent packing, also to New York. So the wheels are turning here, folks. We could see something happen here, and it was the Jets. So
it was the Jets.
Yeah, so
no
Derek Notty should be
that team.
3, 2, 1, boom. It just keeps rolling. So given all these things that literally just happened as we're recording this show, what stands out to you? Do you think anything else is imminent that could affect the Chiefs or could give Chiefs an opportunity?
I think that there is going to be some moves over the next couple of days. Like you said that the final games are on Saturday. They have to have cuts in on Tuesday. There's going to be some trades. There's always trades this coming weekend, and it's going to be one of those things where there's going to be even more trades probably. We have seen, I can't remember last year having this many trades before the third preseason game.
Right.
There may have been one or there may have been two, but there weren't this many. We're at 4 or 5 now at this point.
And I think that illustrates the point that Andy made today.
Which specific point?
That he wanted to play his starters later this year in game 3, while as the rest of the league, for the majority, I think sticking to the old program where game 3 is not important to them.
Well, and I guess what I'm saying is that I'm looking at it in the fact that you have all these trades that are being made, and generally speaking, when you see something start this early, there's going to be a flurry over the next 5 days.
Could Trey Hendrickson go in the next 48 hours? It's possible. Another pass rusher. Don't think he's coming to Kansas City. That's not what I meant to hint at. I'm just saying. I don't know that he's a bungle much longer. The Bengals are just determined to shoot themselves in the foot.
And they're going to waste Joe Burrow, which, okay, waste Joe Burrow. I don't understand what Cincinnati's doing, but not going to argue.
Okay. Yeah, hey, enjoy yourself and keep talking that trash that you're just as good as the Chiefs. You're not. Yeah. Okay. We will keep you.
And how many rings do you have?
Price. If anything major. Right. We will keep you apprised of anything that actually does happen Chiefs way. And as I said, Derek Nottie could be a free agent right now. We just don't know it yet. So keep your eyes peeled. But we will have updates for you on this channel, as always, on the audio platforms and on the text line. So get on the text line at 816-357-8781 if you want to be a loco and one of the everydayers. We appreciate you guys. I think this is about to be maybe one of the more fun winding downs to the preseason that we've had in a number of years. And I personally am into it. So, hey, let's have a good time. Folks, make sure that you like and you sub and hit that bell. Check out KC Chiefs Corner and NFL 33 and RGR Football. We very much appreciate you. Tomorrow, we are previewing game number 3, and you will see your starters. Andy just don't know how long. So we're going to tell you what, who, when, and where. Check us out tomorrow. We'll talk to you then.